2025. Myself, Muskan Singh,
and I, Sakina Mazhar.
are the hosts of today's event. Today, we explore, discuss, and shape the future of human resources. As we step into the era of rapid transformation, HR professionals are no longer just talent managers. They are strategic partners, driving change, fostering innovation, and building resilient organizations. Today's theme, Shaping the Future of HR, is more than just a discussion. It is a call to action. From the impact of AI, automation, to evolving role of employee experience and leadership, we will delve into the how HR is redefining itself for future. So, before we start the event, we would like to see blessings of Goddess Saraswati. For this, I would like to invite our esteemed panelists for lighting of the lamp. I would also like to request Somani sir and Kakar sir and Aditya sir to kindly join them. Please, sir. Thank you everyone. I would like to request the panelists to kindly take their seats on the dais. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and welcome our chairman, Professor Anil Somani, on the stage to address the gathering. So please.
On behalf of Astana Business School, I welcome all our distinguished guests, panelists over here for the HR conclave organized by the ebullient HR committee of Astana Business School. They've been working hard and trying to make this event a success, and the presence of these esteemed panelists and the large gathering here tells me that, well, yes, we're going to have a very successful, fruitful discussion and a meaningful HR conclave. My dear students, management is a word which has different connotations, different meanings for different people. But then everybody agrees that, well, yes, management education is holistic, that it is a practical based education, and it has to be very, very industry relevant. We are living in a VUCA world in which the changes which are happening, especially the changes in technology which are happening, are very disruptive in nature, and therefore all of us have to be on our toes all the time to adapt to these changes if we cannot foresee them. So at least we must be adaptive in our approach. And with this in mind, conclaves such as these would help you to actually see what's happening in the industry and what to expect in the near future or in the foreseeable future when you pass out from here. So, with these, I will not take too much time. Welcome all the guests over here. I hope we have a very fruitful, meaningful discussion and a lot of learning for all of us and the students over there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your insights. So, we are privileged to have some of the most respected HR leaders with us today, and we are encouraging you to ask questions and make most of this opportunity to connect with fellow professionals. And now, let's move to one of the most awaited sessions of today, our panel discussion. I would like to call Sakina to introduce our esteemed panelists.
Thank you, Muskan. The future of HR is being shaped right now, and today's discussion will explore how HR leaders are navigating the changing landscape, embracing technology, redefining leadership, and ensuring employee well-being remains at the core of every organization. We are honored to have an exceptional panel with us today, and it is my privilege to introduce them. Our first panelist for the day is Mr. Rohit Sinha, retired HR professional from L&T, brings over 3 decades of HR experience across manufacturing, services, engineering, and project management industries. With significant contribution to L&T's HR divisions, he is a certified executive coach specializing in workplace personality assessment and organizational development. His passion extends to training, coaching, and mentoring professionals. May I now request Kala sir to kindly present the bouquet to Mr. Rohit Sinha. Give a big round of applause for Mr. Rohit Sinha. Thank you, sir. Our next panelist for the day is Dr. Atul Kumar Yadav, Head of People at Thies India Private Limited. He is a seasoned HR with over 20 years of experience in multinational corporations like Adani, Kane Energy, and Rio Tinto, overseeing HR operations in Australia, Indonesia, Mongolia, and India. His expertise spans recruitment, employee relation, risk management, emotional intelligence, and HR strategy. He is also a certified yoga trainer at Heartfulness Institute with a deep interest in spirituality. I request Dr. Subhash Kakkar to present a bouquet to Dr. Atul Kumar Yadav. Sir. Thank you, sir. Miss Sabina Khan. She is an experienced human resource business partner at Listen with a decade of global expertise across various HR functions. Passionate about talent management, employee engagement, and business development, she balances organizational objective with employees' interest. She is also a philanthropist and a traveler. I request Professor Gautam Kaul to kindly present the bouquet to Ms. Sabina Khan. Thank you, sir. And to moderate this insightful discussion, we are privileged to have with us Dr. Aditya Vij, a renowned HR expert known for his deep understanding of workforce transformation and leadership in the HR domain. Welcome, sir. Over to you.
Good afternoon. I hope I'm audible to the guys at the last. I'm not? I'm more concerned about the guys at the last. Most of the HR professionals come sitting in the last chairs. That's why I'm more concerned about people sitting in the last seats. All of you should be actually thankful that we have people actually sparing time to share with you today, to actually let you know what is actually happening at the ground levels. You have 3 people here who are actually dealing with, as we talk, the transformation that is happening across companies. All of us have this worry which is bothering us most of the times as to what should I be doing personally to make sure that I fit into the changing environment. And that is exactly why we have actually come up with this conclave, that all of you are able to understand and all of you are able to see it from people who are actually seeing the transformation, actually handling the transformations, and actually preparing people for fitting into the organizations. Let me also clarify, if any one of you sitting here thinks that this is a session only for the HR specialization students, it's not. Because I actually got a couple of students walk up and ask me, Sir, sirf HR walon ko aana hai? That's precisely the point that all of you have to understand. Absolutely not. All of you have to be prepared for the change. These people here are not only looking at HR people, they are looking at the whole organizations, people working across in all the departments, people working across all different job profiles, all different job descriptions. And the kind of traits that are required in those guys is what they are searching for. So please keep your ears open, please keep your senses alive while they talk. Please try and catch every word which is there. And lastly, before we begin the panel discussion, because I would like them to be speaking a lot more than I do, I hope most of you realize post the session, HR वालों का काम सिर्फ रंगोली बनाना नहीं होता है. So over to the panelists, and we shall hopefully have a very meaningful discussion taking it up from here. Thank you guys. Topic and then we discuss it further. Sir.
Okay, thank you sir for having me here. Really privileged to be part of this gathering. And the first thing I must say is, I don't know the ground reality, but it seems like very disciplined people sitting here in front. So really, nice experience to be part of this meeting. About the topic. So, as sir has mentioned in his speech, Somani sir and Vish sir also speaking about it. Whatever may be the topic, the burning issue with organizations and with individuals these days, because organizations are made by individuals. So we all share the same thing. Issues are similar. What we face in a family, similar situations we face in organization. So what is different in these times, and we were just chatting over lunch, what is different in these times is the rate of change. Change has always been there, but the rate of change is unprecedented. As a human being, and the human mind is not, we don't like change. We all want predictability in life. कल क्या होगा? आज हमें, we are comfortable when we know it today. So what makes us anxious is the uncertainty of the future. Similar situations happen with organization. And sir used a very nice word, transformation, that applies to organizations, that applies to individuals. And unless and until we have the ability to transform ourselves, we will be dinosaurs, we will be extinct. So I represent an organization which is in existence for 90 years. we celebrated the 90th anniversary of my organization, the current company that I work with. And any organization surviving and thriving for 90 years is an achievement in itself. And what makes us thrive those long years is the ability to change. And every 3, 4, 5 years, the organization reinvents itself. And we are going through a similar cycle these days. So I can share a lot of case studies that we live every day, encounter things that happen on a day-to-day basis. But the underlying fact is, if we change and accept change as an opportunity, though it seems very, very difficult to accept a change, but unless and until we take that leap of faith and say, okay, let's face it, let's see what's there in the future, I think that's the key to success for organizations and individuals. That's it.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Happy to be here. And at the outset, heartfelt thanks to the directors and the chairman sir and director and faculty of Bossheimer. And very happy to be in the company of very interesting and profile holders like Dr. Atul and Ravi. I'm looking forward to a lot of learning from both of them and all of you. Because we get to know many interesting trends in the country like Africa, Indonesia, and very, very hopeful that we'll enrich our knowledge and update on international trends on data. So I represent the project management industry, having worked the majority of my career with Larsen & Toubro. And as Dr. Atul said, of course, we have been changing because we also only 3 years shy of 90 years. We are 87-year-old company, but still one of the best, one of the front runners in the space of project management infrastructure. And I'll be very happy to share my experiences of having worked with a company like Larsen & Toubro.
So hi everyone. Happy to be here again, like both the sirs, and thank you to the faculty of FOSTEMA for having us here for this great panel discussion. So unlike both the sirs, I am from Listen. Listen is a startup. Startup culture is very different from established organizations culture. Startup में hustle चाहिए होता है. So startup is all about hustling. Our core values are you need hustlers, you need owners. So I hope you know all the buzz these days over those memes and reels which are going viral. You have to look at your wife on Sunday, instead work, right? So I don't agree with that, neither agree with 30 hours working, taking therapeutic sessions, nor agree with 90 hours work. I think काम तो करना होता है, right? और किसी भी जगह को लोग बेहतर बनाते हैं. I mean, it's the people, right? So all of you are PGDBM students. You know the 3 P's, right? What are the 3 P's? Anybody? So I think the first important P is people, yeah, and the second important P is processes, and the third important P is product. राइट प्रोडक्ट और सर्विसेज. तो ओनर्स की तरह काम करना है. आप एचआर में काम करो, आप मार्केटिंग में काम करो, आप स्ट्रैटेजी में काम करो. यू हैव टू बी ओनर्स, राइट? यू डोंट हैव टू वर्क लाइक रेंटर्स. वर्क लाइक यू ओन इट. सो स्टार्टअप में हम लोग ऐसे ही काम करते हैं. यू वर्क लाइक ओनर्स. You work like raising your own baby. It takes village to raise a baby. It takes entire community when you're raising a child. So similarly, when we are working in a startup, it's like working like an owner and not working like a renter, working with a lot of ownership, lot of accountability. And then hustle चाहिए होता है काम करने के लिए, ठीक है? And again coming back to HR, which is all about people. It's the people which make any business great. So yeah.
Guys, I hope you can calculate how many years of experience we have on this stage. 90 plus 87 plus 4. So that is the quantum of experience that you are listening to. So I'm going to actually start the other way around. When I'm saying start the other way around, probably this might have been my last question of the day. That, sir or ma'am, what would you suggest students do to actually fit in into the current environment? I'm going to start with that because I know that is what most of you sitting here would like to listen to. So as a matter of fact, that is what I'm going to start with and ask everyone here on our panel, that in this changing environment, what are those actual traits and actual things which students should be focusing on so that they can actually find themselves a foothold into the industry per se. So that is what I think, sirs, we're going to start with. I hope that should be an easy question to start.
So I think there is no shortcut to hard work. काम तो करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है? तो हार्ड वर्क और स्मार्ट वर्क का कोई शॉर्टकट नहीं है. अब काम उसमें एक persistence होना चाहिए. You know, there should be persistent efforts when you're working. ऐसे नहीं कि एक दिन काम किया, एक दिन नहीं किया. So persistence should be there. भले ही you're working every day, you know, थोड़ा, but that थोड़ा, you know, makes it big. It takes miles to smile. You know, building something actually takes a lot. So you will have to compromise on your entertainment, you will have to compromise, you know, on your sleep, you will have to compromise on many other things. But you cannot compromise on hard work and smart work. So hard work and smart work both are needed.
Very well said, Ms. Sabina. And see, Dr. Aditya provoked a thought about a very famous clip by Indra Nooyi, the CEO, ex-CEO of Pepsi, a leader par excellence. I recall her 5 C's of success. So I meant that you call that the 2 minutes clip. So it talks about 5 C's of success, 5 C's mantra of by Indra Nooyi. Incidentally, her sister had won a Grammy. So again, an entrepreneur, and then she picked up music at the age of 54, winning a Grammy. So you can check the newspapers of yesterday. So, okay, coming back to Indra Nooyi, she has 5 C's. The first is communication. She talks about communication is not limited only to language communication. Speaking good English or Hindi or whatever. According to me, we need to actually work a lot upon our self-awareness and make our communication a proactive communication, not reactive, without emotions, putting logic understanding, getting to understand what is said, the feeling behind what is being communicated, the essence behind what is being communicated. Similarly, our communication should be very balanced. Nobody taught us when I started this career 35, 40 years back. But you guys have got access to IT and IT level knowledge inputs and skill inputs. You must work upon your communication. Of course, language and grammar and ChatGPT is there to help you with that. But thinking, first we think in our mind. It has to be proactive, not reactive. That is communication. Number 2, competence. As Ms. Sabina said, there is no shortcut. We need to be very good at our craft. So I encourage you, you are privileged to have studying in the one of the best business schools of Delhi NCR. Make the best use of it. And invest time. Put your mobile phone away, pick up a book and read, please. And build your craft. You need to have a core competence on building your competence is very, very important. You just can't pass off as a sharp shooter in any interviews. When we interview, and sir would agree and madam will agree that we try to understand what this person really holds. That is very important competence. Number 3 is credibility and courage, both. Credibility, you must be the go-to person in any organization. You've got a project coming up, your name must bring in my mind. Okay, चलो उसको दे दो, वो perfect. वो आपको उतनी credibility you have to earn, right? Like being very sincere at your work. And number two is courage. Courage to volunteer, courage to take initiative. Yes, I will. And also speak your mind. When you have got good communication, proactive thinking, competence and credibility, courage comes. It's a process and it will come to you. And last C is compass. Compass is integrity. Integrity is very important. Display integrity. Integrity means being honest when nobody is watching you. There is a small thing that you are not feel like coming to office and then you are faking it. It goes against your integrity. So, do your best and with all integrity. This 5 C's I think is a very, very nicely summed up by Exanui. It's a success mantra. So what I encourage you to invest yourself fully, honestly in this 5 liquids. Communication, competence, credibility, courage, and compass. Compass is integrity.
So out of those 5 C's, there is, so if you categorize them, how many of them relate to the soft skill part of it, and how many of them you can bucket them in the hard skill part of? So if you have to divide them into 2 sections, how many fall under the softer side, how many fall under the hard skill, as we call it? Response? हार्ड स्किल में कितने हैं, सॉफ्ट स्किल में कितने हैं, 5 में से?
So I think other than competence, other 4 will be soft skill and the competence will be hard skill.
Very good. Okay. Fantastic. So when sir asked the question, I got reminded of a study I just looked at it. There is a study called as the soft skill disconnect. You can Google it in your mobile phones. A study done by Stanford University along with, I guess, Dale Carnegie Institute and one other renowned institute. They did that study, and what they found, so what that study was, they studied top, I think, 5,000 professionals or even more in different fields, successful individuals who are at the top of their trade, so to speak, good doctors, professionals, corporate people, bureaucrats, politicians, who have arrived in life, sort of. So that study spanned for many, many years, and they published their report or their research, and that was called as the soft skill disconnect. So the question that I want to put across is that the question they wanted to answer was, which skills actually contributed to your success? They asked a similar question. There were a lot of questions, but theme was, if you have to categorize them into softer and harder skills, what percentage would you attribute to the hard skills and soft skills in your success? So what do you think will be the outcome? Those of you who have already Googled it shouldn't answer.
So I believe it depends on your domain. Like if you are into finance, then in finance your hard skills play a more vital role than soft skills.
Okay, that's one perspective. Suppose CEO of a multi-billion-dollar organization. What do you think is the proportion of soft skills versus hard skills in his or her day-to-day working in the office?
So I believe the ratio between hard and soft skills will be 7:3. I'll give 7 to the hard skills because their core work is to make the decision makings and make plans for their organization. But apart from the hard skills, they also have to convey their strategies to their company, to the whole hierarchy, That's why their communication skills also plays a vital role.
Okay, all right. So 70% hard skills and 30% soft skills. Okay. Any other perspective? So I'll tell you the outcome of that study later. Yeah, a few more responses.
I'd like to differ on that point. I think the soft skill part is more necessary than the hard skills, because at the position that you mentioned, the way the CEO speaks, the way he handles situations is more important than the actual facts and figures, which are definitely right, but then again the more stress is put on the softer skills, softer aspects of
So
it.
percentage wise out of 100, how many?
I would say
What do you-
80% on soft skills and 20% on hard skills at that position.
All right. Any last response from the last bench? Somewhere from the back. Anybody wants to try? You can guess.
I think it's 10% hard skills and 90% soft skills.
All right.
I would like to put Daniel Goleman here. He said that success is 90% about this EQ and 10% about IQ.
Great. All right. So we have from 10% to 70% range on the hard skill and 90% to 30% on the soft skill side of things. What the study actually came up with, they attributed 15% to the hard skills and 85% to the soft skills in success of the people who are at the top of their trade, so to speak. The weightage actually differs when depends on the career stage you are in, lot of factors. But to be successful and be the best, that's the outcome of that study. The second part of that study, and I'll conclude, the second part of the study was quite interesting for all of us to know. How much they focused on industries and institutions. How much money in terms of investment do we spend, do organizations spend on developing these two traits, soft skills and hard skills? In our context, how much time you guys spend on development of the hard skill and the soft skills? So, based on their research, they came up that 75% of the money goes into development of hard skills and only 25% goes into the development of soft skills. Similar to what we do in our academic life, and later on, we spend majority of our time developing our hard skills, because that is, I'm not undermining that, that's very, very important. But at the same time, hard skill will get you a job, but soft skill will make you thrive. So that's the understanding that I have gathered over the years, and this is this summary of my experience is that unless and until we spend our time and energies in development of our soft skills, Sir used a very interesting word, self-awareness. I started meditation at an age of 18 years, and throughout my life, whatever I have achieved in my material life, I attribute a very large portion of it to that skill that I developed early in life. And all these soft skills, everything, resilience, courage, communication, all that comes from, I think, that skill that I learned very early. And I recommend it to everybody that I meet.
So I think all of you need to start working on the 90% of the story. So can we start having the 2-minute presentations? See, all of you start backing out on what you need to be learning. All of you want to learn the hard skills. You have actually coming up from people who are seeing it, telling you the same thing. And all of you run away on the context of learning the soft skills. I'm going to move on to the second thing, sir. We all hear the scary stories of technology disrupting, and all of these poor guys, including us, going to be getting out of jobs. the new age era bringing in job cuts, how relevant is it and how exactly do you think as an HR perspective it is going to impact organizations' intakes? Can we have a light on that, please?
So I'm feeling like one of the first few roll numbers जो practicals के बाहर खड़े होते हैं, तो over to sir for this question and I will take up later on. Please sir.
Okay, very genuine concern and relate to you, empathize with you because you are going to enter the job market in a year's time or so, and so artificial intelligence and all these things, of course, pose at least a presumed or a mental threat. Actually, it's not real threat. See, it reminds me of my days when I started my career way back in 1988. I went to Kolkata to join a public sector company. All India test railway pass करके I joined a public sector company, and there was a Bharat Bandh in Calcutta by banking employees. And they were not unionized workers of bank. They were the officers and supervisors, officer associations of banks, calling a Bharat Bandh kind of a thing. And Calcutta, the first clarion call, and they will shut everything. You can play cricket on the Chaurangi. And they were a very interesting place. And I had to walk down with a suitcase quite a distance to reach where I was to travel. And do you know what was the reason of that bandh? When computers were introduced in banking. So do you think 30 years from now, from then, 35 years, 40 years from then, do you think if you say I am taking out computers from banking, then again there will be a Bharat Bandh? So it is not about getting scared of technology, it is getting a hold on the technology. It's artificial intelligence there. I let me tell you, my daughter helps me use ChatGPT. I have written something. Old days, we have learned our grammar and whatever, writing and all this thing. So we have written quite a few. And we have written our exams in hard copy. So we are fairly familiar. But we picked up some computer skills. I can handle some PowerPoint and Excel. I can handle mobile phone. And now I'm also using ChatGPT. In order to, even for today's preparation, I did some Googling and ChatGPT. What question would come up. So it's getting on the top of the technology is key. I'm sure it's going to be very interesting. There's a flip side of it, particularly the artificial intelligence in video clips, matching the voice. All these things are scary things. So we need to be very, very watchful. My appeal to you, don't believe whatever you see on the screen. And also educate your parents and grandparents. My father-in-law forwarded some message. केजरीवाल ने क्या कहा और राहुल गांधी ने कहा, तो पापा जी आर ऑल फेक, तो डोंट बिलीव. क्योंकि वॉइस मैच कर रहा है, बिकॉज दे आर यूजिंग आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस. So this is my limited knowledge. I'm not really the right person. One thing I'm very sure, like I always recommend any MBA student when we interview, I say that 50% marks is given to the person who can say I can do a VLOOKUP and I can handle a Excel formula करके ला देगा. वो आदमी चाहिए, ये MBA नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि मुझे डेटा पर काम करता है. तो वो स्किल्स आना बहुत जरूरी है. Analytical skills should be very good. It's a good idea to do something analytics and artificial intelligence courses कीजिए. PowerPoint presentation AI you must know how to do it. You need to be very efficient. Of course, as Dr. Atul said, emotional intelligence is absolutely necessary to take places. But the first पड़ाव is your competence. वो competence है, काम तो करके शुरू में करना पड़ेगा. And then many things follow. So according to me, this digital thing or AI thing is bound to happen. We cannot stop it. only thing to get over it, on the top of it. That is the actually key point to get along with technology and new age. So,
Thank you, sir. In my opinion, this is going to be a disruption. This is a disruption in the way that organizations used to work, the way individuals used to operate. It's much more bigger and much more severe than introduction of computers or other technological changes when internet came in and all of that. It is a real problem or an opportunity. It depends on us how we look at it. But it is a disruptive phenomenon. There are a lot of ChatGPT and all of these AI tools are going to be the game changer. In my opinion, the way organizations are getting ready for the challenges is something that we are not at all prepared. We don't really know what is coming in. What are the challenges that lie ahead of us? So gradually, slowly, we are learning to handle the situations. But as professionals, what is important and what I see emerging now is that unless and until we embrace the change or the disruption, it is really difficult for us to continue the same way as we were habituated of doing things. So it's a difficult, tough situation at this moment to get used to that change. But I'm sure as humans are, we have survived for millennia. So of course we'll find out our own ways and means to tackle this. Remain, as Sir has said, remaining aware and remaining open for change and disruption, and taking that leap of faith, I would say, is the key to drive through or pass through this situation.
So see, with all the buzz AI is here, I think technology has been ever changing. This is not the first time it's changing, तीनों भाई अंबानी came with that dream कि हर किसी के हाथ में मोबाइल फोन होना चाहिए, and that's when the era completely changed and maids का phone also used to ring. उसके बाद 2G, 3G, 4G came in picture, and then, like he said, internet became accessible to everybody. So technology has been ever changing. Like Sir mentioned about the time wherein there was a strike at Kolkata because of the revolution computers were going to bring in. So technology has been ever changing, but yes, this AI revolution seems a little serious. But AI, ChatGPT को prompt भी तो human ही देता है ना. I mean, we are the prompt engineers who give prompts to ChatGPT in order to make it work, in order to get the results, right? So I think humans are not replaceable, and we might work in collaboration with each other. The only thing is that we will always have to upskill ourselves. So I think upskilling is very important. Rest, I think two great leaders have shared their thoughts. So yeah, over to Sir.
Thank you. I think, guys, the option we have is that we'll have to learn it. So any one of you who learns it quicker, please give me some tips. Otherwise, even we might be out of the markets very soon. So all of us will have to learn it. I'm going to move on to the next thing that I would like them to address. Sir, how scary are the HR guys? Everybody seems to be afraid of them. Everybody seems to be actually blaming the poor guys left, right and center. So what is the actual real picture about the HR department and the HR guys?
So to add some humor, I think HR is the most poor department, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if you agree with me or not.
See, I recall one of my business heads when I was head HR of Faridabad, Delhi actually. So he said, Rohit, I don't envy your job. So HR job can be very, very interesting, at the same time very challenging, huh? Because you are handling 1,500 employees. Every day you come across certain challenge that is unique, huh, in nature, and you have to deal with different people differently, different strokes with different folks, and somehow business, when something goes wrong with the business, to look for the scapegoat, and then HR is a very, very soft target. So it happens, but things are changing. Things are changing. I have seen a company like Larsen Toubro, that is, we have been traditional approach, but last 10 years or so, we have taken quite a few transformational changes we have brought about. The way we work, the way leadership aligns with HR. So two things, the leadership is, they believe in two engines, HR and technology. So of course, digitalization and use of digital technology, as well as exploring all aspects of HR in order to integrate and involve manpower. That is very important. And going forward, handling Gen Zs and then Alpha in the next decade, very difficult to keep them engaged and integrated and aligned to company. Particularly Larsen Toubro got a big challenge because we are into project business. Our nature of job is different. There may not be any air conditioners, there may be difficult situation. We are working in Sahara Desert or something like that. So, of course, HR has got very, very challenging, but at the same time very interesting. So, very, very bright future for HR. And as Sir said, this session is not for only for HR, because each and every one of you are going to be impacted by changes this world is going to see. The new framework of work, new framework of performance, sense of belongingness, all these things are going to impact. Because you are not an island. मैं finance आदमी हूँ तो I am just protected from all other impacts. All of us are going to be impacted. Good idea to pick up all these people skills and HR skills. Okay.
Sir has an orange mic and he is talking about two double engine factors. I can correlate two things.
So HR, कितने लोगों के पास है वो? How many of us?
So no, they have to still choose.
Choose the specialization. First year. Okay, very good. So you can make up your mind. In my perspective, the most important function of any organization is human resources. So just to put it in perspective, organizations broadly, or before I go to organization, as an individual, I see there are two worlds for me. One is the outside world, people I interact with, bosses I work with, I go to market, I deal with a lot of people outside. There is a world outside me. And there is a world inside me as well. My emotions, my feelings, meeting होने वाली है, appraisal discussion है, increment होना है, client से meeting है, all of that and the emotions that I go through. That's my inner world. Similar to that, in organizations marketing team is an outward facing team. Clients, business, performance, पैसा कहाँ से आ रहा है, revenue कहाँ से आ रहा है. There are departments, there are functions which are inward looking. How we are organized, how we are structured, how things happen within the organization, what's the culture of the organization. And human resource is the torch bearer, if I may use that phrase, of the organization from that inward looking perspective. What is happening now, because it's referring to the previous question, what is happening nowadays is the disruption due to technological changes. The environment outside us is changing. The way clients used to, I can use my company's example and don't record and put it on social media, that the bigger challenge is to manage inward. You can still handle clients, you can manage the outside world. The outside doesn't change as fast as inside of the organizations. With these disruptions, with these changes, and which are happening at a very, very fast pace, the bigger challenge is to handle how organizations change from within. There is no dearth of work for good organizations. But what is troublesome or what is problematic is the inner inefficiencies. How to manage attrition, how to handle loss and leakages in the organization, that is a much bigger problem for organizations of today in the current times. So to answer your question, sir, people in HR are not scary at all, and also as as a function, it's a very, very important function. But the only thing is, we limit ourselves, and for the most part of my career ourselves, I can speak for myself, I have limited myself to the domain that I am expert in or responsible for. Organizations look for much more from human resource than just having that expertise in recruitment and salary processing. So that's my take on that.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to make a little bit of a change to the discussion. I'm going to rope in Googly. Neetu, I need you to be here to ask something practical that you would like to ask, which is there. Come. She is our placement head. So that's why I thought she would be having a better question to ask.
Thanks for such talk. So, okay. I also have a decade experience in corporate. So I worked with Colliers, CBRE, and I was into sales. And it's been 8 years that I'm here. And HR. Honestly speaking, admin people doing HR. Now it's of course two separate, department full-fledged, and role responsibilities are very different. So I'm sure like most of you started your career at the same time. You must have seen this transformation. So what do you think that, this is the good thing that now there's a thin line, and you think over a period of time, since there are two full departments, the efficiency has improved, or was there a requirement, or when it was admin and HR, how those people were coping up, doing dual things at that point of time? So people are more efficient now or at that time, or the skill set is such that now you feel that there is a separate requirement for both the departments? I don't know how I put it, but
See, a very good question. See, when I started working, it was it's a mixed bag. There was a very blurred boundaries between HR, investigation, administration. Actually, usually there was only one department, P&A, personal administration. Invariably, you are there, you cannot separate from regular admin work. But it has evolved over a period of, in last 20 years, HR is a specialization to reckon with. And now admin is altogether a separate function now, and HR is in the progressive organization. So HR is absolutely far. And it is absolutely focused on, as we know, the HR functions. In one of the books, very good books that I read about leadership, 5 things HR does. One is casting of a role. In a film, you do casting, it is closer than others. So, कौन हीरो होगा, कौन हीरोइन होगी, वैसा casting होती है. So, like in organization also, we cast a role. We write the role like Salinga will, and then we look for a person that fits the bill exactly to the extent possible. That is casting. Second is tasking. Tasking is defining the performance parameters. I'm putting it simply, but this is about performance management. Then integrity, because the person has come from outside and the person has to be integrated with the organization. So that is a lot of work that is to be done. Like introducing him to various processes, people and organization and the values and culture of the organization. So that is integrating. Fourth is caring. When the person is settled down, in the hours of need, you need to care. So all these things will happen, recognition, caring for family, taking care of the different needs, and finally growing that person in the organization. So these 5 things, 5 stages, these are becoming so specialized. Like a very esteemed younger colleague will add more value to this. Now, even for the career planning and succession planning, you need to work very, very thoroughly. Last time too, like if I'm picking up a project manager for a Saudi Aramco, doing a $1 billion project, and we have to complete that project in 40 months and take some profit of the very tough work that we do in the space of oil and gas. How to prepare for 5 years from hence, which 5 people are going to be, who are the potential project manager who can handle $1 billion account, that's their crore account. तो उसको क्या क्या उसमें स्किल सेट्स होने चाहिए, उसका टेम्परामेंट क्या होना चाहिए, what kind of mentoring, coaching and hand holding that person requires from now for the project that is coming up 5 years from now. So even for talent management, there is a lot of specialization happening. So HR is now today in today's world is significantly, very, very significantly different from day-to-day admin work. That is what my understanding, my experience. It has happened in the last 20 years. So altogether becoming a very specialized function.
I can actually resonate with you. I also started my career like a decade ago, more than a decade ago. So at that point of time when I started my career, HR was kind of a combination of admin and HR. But now, no. I think it's, I mean, it involves a lot of data analytics. You have systems in place, you have tools in place, you're working on tools, you're not doing onboarding anymore manually. You are a tool-driven organization. मतलब HRMS होगा, comprehensive HRMS होगा, whether you are a startup or you are an established organization, right? So I mean, you might start from basic tools, but then you may scale to enterprise solutions. So I think it has really evolved over all these years, and administration is completely a different department. HR is all about, managing the entire employee life cycle from hire to retire. You're working along with the cross-functional teams. It's no more a non-revenue generating function, I would say, right? If you will not provide a resource, how will the revenue come in, right? That's just an example. So, yes, you work in collaboration with other departments, other cross-functional teams, and it's all about, talent acquisition, acquiring the right talent, onboarding the person, then managing the performance of that person, evaluating the performance of that person, how you're doing it. It totally, again, varies from organization to organization. Some of the organization just evaluates the performance of an individual, for example, on the basis of the manager's feedback. But in other organizations, they might have a 360-degree feedback, wherein, peers, direct reportees, managers, other stakeholders' feedback will be taken into consideration. I'm kind of deviating from the question, but just want to give insights to, the students here, how HR operates, right? So then performance evaluation comes in between, wherein you have to take care of the evaluation process, and again it's tool driven. I mean, gone are the days जब evaluation ऐसे होता था कि manager को एक कमरे में बुलाया जाता था और उससे पूछा जाता था कि how is your team performing? So it's completely on the tools these days, which comes under the comprehensive umbrella of HRMS, right? Then you again do retention, you do the attrition analysis, and then you work on the retention strategies. Then you manage the exits. So it starts from managing the entire employee life cycle of an employee. From the time when a person is being interviewed to the time the person is getting out of the system. So you are managing the entire employee life cycle from hire to retire. उसके बीच में क्या क्या आता है? पूरा टीए प्रोसेस आता है, पूरा परफॉर्मेंस इवैल्यूएशन आता है, पूरा परफॉर्मेंस मैनेजमेंट आता है, ऑनबोर्डिंग से ऑब्वियसली आप स्टार्ट करते हो, एग्जिट आती है. So yeah, I think HR has definitely evolved over all these years. You will have to generate a lot of data from the tools. For example, if I talk about talent acquisition, talent acquisition may you will have to take the entire funnel into consideration. You will be taking care of a lot of conversions from sourcing to interview, from interview to selection, from selection to offer, from offer to the person joining in. So it has definitely evolved. Yeah.
Okay guys, I think we are running out of time and we need to open the house for some questions as well. But before I open the house for some questions, can I ask one question on your behalf? Very good. सर ये HR वालों को पैसे क्यों नहीं मिलते? So that's the question that all of them ask.
Gone are the days जब पैसे नहीं मिलते थे. Like sir said, बहुत पैसे मिलते हैं.
Hear it guys. That's what you all think.
Admin and HR is a minor question. Admin में नहीं मिलता पैसे. That's for sure. Organizations outsource that function. That's a non-value add. People categorize it that way. I don't consider it. It's a very important part. बिजली चली जाएगी सबसे important आदमी इलेक्ट्रिशियन ही होता है. But जब तक कुछ गलत ना हो तब तक admin and stuff is ignored. But as far as the RAM and the salary part of packages is concerned, normal routine will not attract any premium. हमको भी brand चाहिए, something that differentiates you from the rest. Campus placement में जैसे सर से बात कर रहे थे, ISL में I have been multiple times in other institutions. Campus placement में companies, at least the companies that I work for, we are not looking for a student who is bright, very bright. Topper को नहीं लेते और नीचे वालों को भी नहीं लेते. We say okay, 8 and plus come. Whosoever is 8 and plus. So everybody is the same as far as your technical expertise is concerned. I am emphasizing that because that part of anybody's grooming, I have learned a hard way what matters actually on ground. So technical expertise is given from an institution of repute. You go there, you say okay yaar sab barabar hai, everybody 7.5 come, we are okay to interview. And what is differentiating you is then the way you present yourself, the way you answer, the way you communicate, the way you think and analyze things. So that's the differentiator and that attracts good amount of money. So पैसा ऐसा नहीं है कि HR professionals को पैसा नहीं मिलता, but you have to be having some differentiator, be it from your core domain or you add on something which these days analytics part and all of that into your the offerings for the organization. You definitely attract a good amount of money.
Such incredible insights. Thank you, panelists, for sharing your perspectives on the evolving role of HR. Now, we open the floor to the audience. If you have any question, please raise your hand and our team will bring you the mic. Let's make this an engaging discussion.
I didn't see a hand go up.
फुटबॉलर कौन से फुटबॉलर भाई तुम सुनील छेत्री का वीडियो देख रहा था मैं इंटरव्यू है ना, बहुत ये मैं चाहूँगा आप तो जरूर सुनिए इसको ध्यान से. सुनील छेत्री अब इंडियन फुटबॉलर सेलिब्रेटेड है ना, वो in a game of 90 minutes, football के 90 minutes के game में the number 1 player in the football, Messi. Can you make a guess कितना मिनट बॉल करता है, हाउ मच टाइम बॉल?
9 minutes.
हाँ 9 मिनट हाँ 2 minutes actually. He is the number one of the fastest players because he can grab the ball. Huh? Reaching out to the ball is highest in the world, maybe matching only Ronaldo. Other than Messi, other players get to touch the ball for about a minute or so, not more than 1 minute. Our work life is going to be that way only. Only 2% of work you feel like you are doing something, but there you have to show your perseverance, patience, and what Dr. Atul said, work on your inner to work around that and build your competence. So work in organization में जाके mixed bag मिलेगा to begin with, but you are focused, you are building your competence, you are aligning कि आपका future में क्या करना है, what is your interest in management, recruitment, whatever, sales, marketing, and then you start building your career. In 3 to 5 years time, you will find that you are somewhere, you are getting better salary also. लेकिन उसमें give up नहीं करने का. So that is what my experience है.
So,
Okay, next question.
good afternoon, sir. Sir, my question is how to develop a right mindset for audible. My question is how to develop.
How to develop a good mic first.
Hold the mic. Talk like that, hello.
Aditya, you can speak without the mic.
Sir, my question is how to develop the effective mindset for the HR leadership role in today's business world.
Effective mindset.
Okay, so what's the right mindset to be a leader in the HR or any job that we do or any work that we do? We have spoken. Is that the question? I have understood it correctly. Okay. So as I have been advocating quite a lot, firstly, work on your trade, the trade that you are in. You should have the knowledge of the work that has been assigned to you. In today's time, I feel on a day-to-day basis, मेरे पास ऐसा 10 टास्क अगर आए तो उनमें से 8 ऐसे होते हैं जिनके बारे में मेरे को कोई आइडिया नहीं. How to do it? Because every problem is new. It's not a routine thing that happens every day. Every challenge that comes to my plate is new challenge. I don't know how to handle that. So the first trait, if you ask me, in today's time is being grounded and having that confidence that I will be able to handle this. क्योंकि जैसे ही आता है, you don't have time to respond. These days, everything is so fast moving. You have very little time to respond to a situation, and that creates a lot of anxiety and panic. We all face that every day. So having your feet on the ground, having a level head, and the confidence in yourself, okay, even if though I don't know it, I'll be able to handle it. And then figure out ways and means of doing it. Because the way human mind is constituted, our frontal lobe, आगे का खोपड़ी का जो हिस्सा है, that is responsible for thinking, analyzing, creating solutions. And it works only when the mind is at ease, peaceful, शांत है दिमाग, तब ये आगे का हिस्सा काम करेगा. Then you will be able to think and analyze the situation. जैसे ही हम we are in a defense mode, our primitive mind takes over, and that is a fight or flight response. हमको या तो उस नौकरी चेंज करनी है, बाहर में जाए नौकरी, ये बेकार बॉस है, I have to run away from it, right? Or you fight with somebody and say, what nonsense, this is not my job, I will not do it. This is some finance job or something. So to remain, I think, to answer your question in summary, keeping a level head, keeping your head at the right place, balanced approach, and that confidence that I will be able to do it. कर लेंगे यार, हो जाएगा. Even if I don't know the solution now, I will deal with it. That's my take on it. That's how I am.
One last question, anyone?
It just I'll compliment on what Dr. Atul said. I learned something only a year back, 2 years back. A very recent learning. And then I realized I should have learned it when I was your age. So three demands we place, three most mistaken beliefs. Number one, demand placed on ourselves. That demand is, I must be the best, I must be perfect, I must be loved and liked by all. This is a huge mistaken belief. Please get out of this. You don't need to be perfect, you don't need to be best. वो आप छोड़ दीजिए, अपने को जज करना छोड़िए. Number one, I don't expect people to love. Number two, demand based on others. वो मुझे हेल्प करेंगे, वो मुझे पसंद करेंगे, वो सब करेंगे. वो भी एक मिथ है. मिल जाता है तो आप लकी हैं, नहीं मिलता है तो उनको भी बोलिए. Number three, demand based on the world. The world should be like this. I started 1.5 hours, 2 घंटे पहले चालू करके टैक्सी लेट हो गई. अब क्या कुछ नहीं कर सकते. ये तीनों टेंशन को हटाएंगे तो सर ने बोला पीसफुल हो जाएंगे और सर ऑफ कोर्स मेडिटेशन कर देगा. तब आप कोई भी माइंडसेट बना सकते हैं, सफल हो सकते हैं. तो माय मेंटल हेल्थ एंड इमोशनल हेल्थ इज नंबर वन की थिंग. We have passed through, we were not aware. Now having to come about it, I feel like कि मैं कितने लोगों को बता दूँ, फिर डॉक्टर साहब ने बताया, डॉक्टर को बताया. तो आप उसमें इन्वेस्ट कीजिए, बिल्कुल. फिजिकल, मेंटल एंड फाइनेंशियल हेल्थ में प्लीज इन्वेस्ट योर लाइफ टाइम, प्रेशर टाइम. थैंक यू.
Okay, one last question. I would like to understand from your perspective, like what are the some key talent management challenges an organization face today, and how the HR professional like you tackle them or prepare for it in today's time?
So see, this starts right from बंदा join नहीं कर रहा. So I mean, your business is at stake. You have given commitments to the client that this person is going to be here and here on this and this date, and the person is absconding. So the challenge starts right from, the person getting on board to the person taking an exit from the system. Then there are so many people issues in between, and then the kind of people issues you can't even imagine. So like sir also mentioned, Dr. Atul, कि रोज different challenges होते हैं, है ना? And sometimes we even don't know how we are going to respond to those challenges. You just collaborate maybe with other internal and external stakeholders, and come up with solutions. So I think it's a journey, and every day is a challenge. So challenges starts right from entry, and it doesn't get resolved until the person takes an exit from the system. So I mean, every journey is a very challenging journey. Let it be for any professional, for HR professional, for marketing professional, for strategy person. So challenges हर किसी के professional life में हैं. It's just how you are coping up with those challenges. So also to what both the sirs said, I would also like to compliment something. Key empathy is very important. Okay, how you are seeing things from another person's lens. For example, there is a person in the team, and that person doesn't know what the challenges HR is facing. HR is not understanding marketing person के challenges. So empathy is very important. Employees are thinking, यार founders, ये तो हमें बहुत प्रेशराइज करते हैं, हमसे बहुत काम कराते हैं, हमसे इतने आवर्स काम करवाते हैं, है ना? फाउंडर्स को लगता है यार एम्प्लॉय काम नहीं कर रही, ये जेंसी में ही प्रॉब्लम है, राइट? सो you have to empathize, you have to see things from other person's lens. And that's also called cognitive reframing, right? So also let's try to make processes simple, let's try to make communication clear, communication structured. Let's try to have empathy. Empathy will help us, to grow as a person also, not as a professional. So I think we should learn to be a good human first, and then we can excel in any role. Let it be, we are working for somebody, or we are an entrepreneur, maybe coming up with our own venture, or just opening a chai ki dukaan. Calm is calm, right? So let's try to be a good person first, and then I'm sure we can be a good professional, and we can cope up with any challenge with the right attitude and the right mindset.
Thank you. Please pass the mic, Ananya.
Yes, sir, Pranav, you can hear.
Today we have discussed about many different skills. So my question is that what key skills would you recommend to build a career in HR for those students who are from non-HR background?
I'll just start and then hand over. कुछ भी जिंदगी में रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है ना? तो इतने सारे लोग हैं, इतनी सीनियर HR पोजीशंस पे बैठे हैं, they are not from IIM, है ना? तो कोई भी इंसान कुछ भी कर सकता है. Qualifications are important. मतलब कुछ organizations में entry लेने के लिए you should have that tag कि tier 1 college से बंदा है ना, उसके बिना CV screen ही नहीं होता है, वो आगे नहीं जाता है. But I think if you have the zeal, you can excel here.
Very nicely put, Sabina. And देखिए skills अब स्किलिंग होता है, skills की. What I'd like to suggest is something fundamental. It is a book by Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And that more books, Habits and Power of Habit by Charles. So मैं चाहूँगा आप हैबिट्स बनाइए, है ना? हैबिट्स टेस्ट होके आ जाएगा एक्चुअली स्किल. I recommend that you pick up that book and read. वो मास्टर क्लास है. You must read the other two books. Atomic Habit पर हो जाएगा. To start 7 Habits. Okay.
Have you got your answer?
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir and ma'am. Great to having you guys here. And so I just have one question, and it's very simple and maybe silly. It's just that being a second year student and searching for job in the domain, the one question that has been asked me a lot, that why HR? So I'm just trying to understand from you guys what kind of answer you are expecting from a person being a fresher with some kind of experience, internship experience. Could it be just some mugged up answer, or some authenticity that you are expecting? Honest answer.
So I think honesty, authenticity, and impeccable integrity can take you anywhere in life. We just need an honest answer. आँखों में सच्चाई होनी चाहिए, right? And then see, cultural fit check करने के बहुत तरीके होते हैं, ठीक है? So as we discussed how HR has evolved. So initially, what used to happen, how we used to do the cultural fit. I mean, a committee used to sit and we guys used to chit chat, how this person has, behaved in this and this situation. For example, we have given a problem statement to a person. But now there are psychometric tests. Why there are psychometric tests? So that we can remove the inherent biases. I may have a bias, I may have an inherent bias. Okay, girl may perform better in this role. That's an inherent bias which shouldn't be there, right? So in order to remove those inherent biases, we have psychometric tests. That is why there are tools in place. That is why I talked about the 360 evaluation, right? Because then comes the inherent bias in promotion. So there may be a lot of inherent biases we have to be mindful about, and that is why there are tools, there are systems in place. So I mean, I sitting on the other side of the interview table would not even look for I would definitely look for a skill set, but for me, attitude matters more than aptitude. Aptitude also matters. I'm not saying aptitude doesn't matter. But for me, if I have to hire for somebody in my team, attitude is something I look for. So, and honesty. Yeah?
Good. Thank you.
Any other question? Thank you.
As we conclude HR Conclave 2025, today's discussions have given us incredible insights into what the future of HR holds. From embracing digital transformation to strengthening leadership and workplace culture, we have explored the key trends that will shape HR in the years to come. I now request Professor Dr. Ruchika to do the honors to presenting the memento to Mr. Rohit Sinha. Give a big round of applause for Mr. Rohit Sinha. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. And now I request Ms. Neetu Sharma to do the honors of presenting the memento to Dr. Atul Kumar Yadav. Give a big round of applause for him. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. S.K. Nandi to do the honors of presenting the memento to Ms. Sabina Khan. Give a big round of applause for her. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. To conclude this event on a note of appreciation, I request Professor Dr. Ruchika to kindly deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
So, good evening, everybody. Last benchers, may I seek your attention, please, everybody. So, as usual, when we conduct any program, when we organize any program, we start with a lot of contemporary sophistication. But today, we started with the same way, but eventually, at the end of this conclave, I derived that it was so simple. Life is really very simple, and we have to turn it from inward to outward. Right? The honest we become, the simple we become, definitely will be successful. So with this note, on behalf of the whole First Timer Business School fraternity, I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to the panelists, esteemed speakers, honored guests, and each one of you, for making our HR Conclave 2025 a resounding success. To our incredible speakers, Mr. Rohit Kumar Sinha, Ms. Sabina Khan, and Dr. Atul Kumar Yadav, your insights, expertise, and passion to HR inspired us all. Your willingness to share your knowledge and experiences has enriched our understanding of HR, especially the HR landscape and its future. Mr. Rohit Sinha, guided from his knowledge and experience, which we call as wisdom. He really guided us from his own life experiences, especially the Kolkata Bansar, and various other experiences which he had gone through his career life path. So we came to know that life will run, life will take you somewhere where you would like to reach, but with some simplistic methods. About Ms. Sabina Khan, she has graciously provided the data-driven insights for the better hiring, promotion, developing decisions and how to handle these challenges during the implementation. Dr. Atul Kumar Yadav, with his research and exposure national and international, highlighted the need to develop a holistic personality, that is the 360-degree development of the personality, with candid communication, streamlining the HR process, labor laws, HR technology, technical know-hows, and how HR is playing a critical role in crisis management. So thank you, sir and ma'am. To all of you, to all the attendees, thank you for your active participation and active listening, engaging questions, and enthusiasm. We are now sure that you are very much excited to explore your own life sets, especially the soft skill sets. And your presence has made this event a truly special event. Special thanks to the moderator, Dr. Aditya Vij, to the organizer, Dr. Sanchita Banerjee, volunteer support staff. Their tireless efforts have been instrumental in making this event a success. Thank you for your dedication and hard work. We are especially thankful to our management, Somani sir, Kakkar sir, Kala sir, Gautam Kaul sir, Nandi sir, Ritika ma'am, Neetu ma'am, the whole placement, fraternity, admission department, and all the staff whose work is intangible in nature. We salute really to the tangible and intangible aspect, whosoever is present here physically or not present here physically. We bow down our head for the ultimate, for the success of this event. As we conclude this conclave, I hope that the knowledge collections or the connections and inspiration gained here will stay with you and inform your work in the HR domain. As sir has told us, HR has a lot of money into it, and HR is not scary. So we must go ahead to explore what's there hidden into the HR field. HR is not, it's not sustaining itself, but it's sustaining other specializations also. So we have to look into it, how we can go ahead and peek down deeper with our HR knowledge. Once again, thank you all for being a part of this incredible journey. We keep on organizing such more HR conclaves, and let us continue to shape the future of HR together. Thank you so much.
Right, Shobhan, and thank you for holding on to everything from your conversations to the loo breaks. Thank you. And can I get the HR committee to be on this stage, because you guys need to give them an applaud as well, and for them to get a picture clicked with the esteemed jury. Please guys.